Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. A little bit under the weather. You'll have to excuse me if I start having a coughing fit or something, but I wanted to do a review for this television miniseries, Comanche Moon. I got this as part of like a TV Westerns 3-pack, which has The Shadow Riders and Broken Trail. But I'm specifically just going to talk about Comanche Moon. Comanche Moon was a 19, or not 19, what am I talking about? It was a 2000, I think it was 2007 um, television adaptation of Larry McMurtry's novel Comanche Moon. It's on 2 discs here. There are 2 episodes on disc 1 and 1 episode on disc 2. Okay? And this stars Steve Zahn as Augustus McCrae, Karl Urban as Woodrow Call, Wes Studi as Buffalo Hump. Then you had Val Kilmer as what was his captain? I don't think he was a captain. Can't remember his rank. He was the leader of the Rangers as Skull, and his wife Inez. Let me see if I can find the full cast description for you here. It says. Let's see. Linda Cardellini played in this as Clara. And then it also had Elizabeth Banks as Maggie, the prostitute. All right. So Maggie, let me just go back for a minute and talk about Lonesome Dove. So back in 1985, was it 86? I don't remember. Larry McMurtry wrote Lonesome Dove. Book won a Pulitzer Prize, was followed up by an Emmy Award-winning television miniseries which starred Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall. Okay, great, fantastic. Larry McMurtry then followed up Lonesome Dove with another book, Streets of Laredo. He then wrote a prequel novel which was called Dead Man's Walk, which itself was adapted into a television miniseries which starred David Arquette. And then he followed it up with another book, which was called Comanche Moon. Comanche Moon was adapted into this television miniseries, which stars all the people I mentioned. Steve Zahn, Karl Urban, Elizabeth Banks, yada, yada, yada. Val Kilmer, okay? What did I think about it? It was okay. If you have, an afternoon to kill, if you're sick... If you're sick like I was and you're bedridden and you're looking for something to kill time, this will do the job. You can throw it in, you can watch it. I don't think it's anything special. It's okay. I really did not feel like reading the novel for Comanche Moon after reading this book because I didn't really like Dead Man's Walk a whole lot. So I was like, I do kind of want to know what happens after Dead Man's Walk. So I watched the miniseries adaptation instead. And it was all right. Now, there are a few things in it that were off. If you've read Lonesome Dove, this suffers a little bit from prequelitis. If we're talking about like Star Wars here, George Lucas. Larry McMurtry, George Lucas, this a little bit. There's things that aren't right. For instance, in Lonesome Dove, there's the famous bar scene where Karl and McCrae go to the bar in San Antonio. It's clear that they lived in San Antonio, yet for some reason they're living in Austin, Texas in this prequel, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And then they have Maggie's character, Maggie's character, which is played by Elizabeth Banks, who is the mother of Newt. She dies in Austin, which doesn't make any sense because it's clear from Lonesome Dove she died in Lonesome Dove. So there's things that are wrong. There's continuity errors because Larry McMurtry had a brain fart or something. And I am going to blame him because he was executive producer on this film. His names are listed in the credits. However, I will say the direction was very good. The acting was very good. This was directed by Simon Wincer. Simon Wincer directed the original award-winning Emmy series, okay? So he returns here. Although we don't have a score by Basil Palladores, Basil's score for this is fantastic. Excuse me. Basil is not here, but the score was serviceable. You do have Wes Studi's Buffalo Hump, which was very good. And it was decent, you know. I mean, it's watchable. It's average at best. Steve Zahn, I thought, did a really fantastic job channeling, you know, Robert Duvall. I think he was great as Augustus McCrae. So if you have not seen Comanche Moon, I do recommend watching it. However, just be aware it is not anywhere near as good as Lonesome Dove. And I will not be reading the novel. It did not interest me enough to read the novel. There are things about it that I just, you know, I didn't care for. Jake Spoon's character seems completely different from, you know, in Comanche Moon. Jake Spoon is completely different than he's portrayed in Lonesome Dove. And I realize that, you know, time has elapsed, whatever, but he just seems really inept and kind of dumb. Whereas later on in the series, you know, in the original novel, he's kind of a suave, debonair type of guy. You just don't get any of that. His character's totally different. But you do get P.I. in this and Dietz, which is nice because P.I. and Dietz did not appear in Dead Man's Walk, which, by the way, this was also adapted into a television series starring David Arquette. I have not watched it. I may watch it. I don't know. But that's going to wrap it up. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. I do recommend watching the miniseries. I don't know about the book. If you've read the book, let me know. I just don't think that that Dead Man's Walk was as good, anywhere near as good as Lonesome Dove. And that's why I opted to watch the television miniseries rather than read the novel. So that's going to wrap things up. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.